I always say, if Europe has got a euro, perhaps Africa should have an afro, not a hair. We are for the United Africa.
I'm a king.
Hello there, welcome to Africa Web TV. My name is Faye. Today we are here in Amsterdam at the Afrikadag 2018. It's going to be an amazing and exciting day, so I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the day with us.
This stage is also called new activism. What would you say is new about the way you approach women's and rights girls through her liberty?
Yeah. Besides just being with Her Liberty, which I started off at more or less a bit smaller and grassroots level, I was pulled in on a bigger picture for me, which is being new activism for me, which was called AFRIAN, which is the African Youth and Adolescent Network on Population and Development, which basically coordinates youth-led organizations in East and Southern Africa and Africa as a whole. And for me, as being the chairperson of leading that in 21 countries, the fact that young people, and it was being mentioned in the opening as well, but the fact that young people were rising up on issues that affect them, and we were so unified and we had such one voice, it really had created such an impact because now we had ownership of our own issues. And looking at issues around girls and young women, and youth in general, I always felt that even though I'm so passionate about girls and young women, the involvement of young men for us had been also a key thing. But one thing that you see these days is young girls having to have a voice. 10 years ago, you wouldn't find a young girl, both you and I sitting on this panel, to be young. It would either be not even young men, but old men, all in the panel talking about themselves and the supremacy and all that. And 10 years from now, things have changed. Young women and girls now do have a voice, and we're able to stand up to speak about our issues.
You're Ugandan, but you're actually Pan-Africanist.
Yeah.
Okay, am I correct?
Yeah, I'm first of all African and then Ugandan later on. And Africans Rising, just like you said, is based on the contestation of the dominant narrative, which is always present, whether in bilateral donors or multilateral donors, that always talking about Africa is rising. And we all say that it's not about the continent, it's actually about the people. So what we as Africans Rising wake up in the morning, sleep over and dream about is to be able to have Africans themselves being able to determine their own destiny, for Africans to be the ones that are determining the future that we want, and that's where young people or old people try to create an intergenerational dialogue.
I'm a journalist and a columnist and a program maker, so I work a lot in media. And I make programs and I write about social and political issues. And so I have a feeling that there's a lot of collaborations going on, and that a lot of African young people are, starting to build, within Africa, but also within Europe. And I think it's good to see what's happening in that aspect.
I am Tikala Itaye from Malawi. I am also a co-founder of an NGO called Her Liberty that also looks at issues around girls and young women, but we do involve young men and boys because we look at development on both sides of the coin.
Why Africa Day, Netherlands?
Well, good question, because I remember when I was invited to come share my expertise and experience here, I was kind of like, Africa Day in Netherlands? That's weird, you know, because you have Africa Day in Africa. But when I began to really understand the aspect of solidarity and creating mutual beneficial cooperation between different countries, I said, you know, this is great, because there's so many unspoken of issues that we face when it comes to developed countries, the supremacy from developed countries to developing countries. You know, the issue around donor-aided countries funding, you know, low-income countries, and there's always that power dynamics that plays. And I love coming to these spaces because now we can have conversations on an eco space and understand each other's problems and understand how we can help each other mutually, and not the power dynamics that always come to play. But we're saying, hey, we've got a common cause, and let's support and help each other equally.
How was your day today?
Really awesome. I'm glad that I came all the way. It was great to see the whole perspective about talking about looking at Africa from a different perspective, and not from a place of lack, but from a place of potential, and that Africa as a continent is so much more. And also just looking at different things from different perspective, also immigration and, you know, healthcare and sustainability and mobile health, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of innovations that we've seen here today. What do you think their role will be in the development of Africa?
I think that with mobile health, for example, we're going to see it's already influencing Africa in a very, very positive way. So I think, as it was said in my session, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
I work with the Youth Partnership for Peace and Development, and as young peace builders, Africa Day actually invited me to come and share some of the practical experiences back home, and to be able to ensure that we are able to share some of those useful tools and certainly those practical experiences to other young people, and certainly people working in peace, you know, in the Netherlands.
Okay. And when you say peace builder, what does that consist of?
Well, we are called here basically to share, you know, what we have done with the UN Resolution 2250. There's a resolution that was put together by young people calling on the United Nations and its member states to be able to take them along in peace building processes, or certainly providing them the voice, you know, in leading the changes that they want to see.
So Chord A thought it wise to bring voices of African young leaders to really come explain to this particular community what exactly we are doing on the continent in terms of making sure that young people have a say in policy, formulation, design, and as well implementation. So it was a unique way to share and really bring our perspective to another side of the world.
An amazing day here at Afrikadag in Amsterdam today, but people are having lunch because, you know, the stomach needs to feed. So hey, we're having Ethiopian food for lunch today. Let's walk around and see how people are enjoying it.
It's a pleasure to be here and see all the different cultures, and especially seeing the Europeans appreciating our culture. And I feel proud of being here. I really do. I think it's an amazing spot for us to show to the world how beautiful Africa is, you know. So
it was really good for them to showcase other things that actually combine the African cultures into one. So it's beautiful, like, you know, the neck pieces that you're wearing, you know, it doesn't really have a tribal, you know, it's just a combination of everything, you know, so it's really beautiful. We're a very colorful continent, and we're a very artistic continent, so it's beautiful. It was amazing. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Give
With me right now is the director of FMS, the organization behind this amazing day. Welcome back to Africa Web TV.
Thank you.
We were here the last time as well, and I must say this time it's bigger and better.
Really?
Yes. What are the spices that you put into this year's event?
I don't know. It's a lot of energy and a lot of a lot of volunteers. But I think most important is that we now have a network of people that are ready to organize for us. You know, people like Daddy Kiangi, who does the iAfrica Festival, like Christian Nana, who is doing the after party later on. So there are Kisa Makandana, so a lot of people that take the responsibility and start organizing themselves, and that is something which we developed over the years, and you see that, and it attracts a lot of good people.
It does, and we also realize that this year there are a lot of activists that came from Africa as well coming here on this platform to tell their stories.
That's true, and the FMS is a political foundation, and it's our mission to support activists around the world. Not so much activists as such, but people that stand up for their rights. And I think that's really important, and that's what we try to bring to the Africa Day today with two amazing guests. Moses, who is representing Africans Rising. I think it was really impressive to have them around.
My name is Arne Doornbal. I work with the Netherlands African Business Council, and we represent more than 350 Dutch companies that do business in and with Africa.
And what type of business are we talking about?
They come from every sector. There's small companies, middle-sized and even large multinationals. Of course, Dutch are big in agriculture, so the majority is from the agriculture, but there's also energy, power, oil and gas, technology, ICT, basically everything. There's myriad business opportunities in the Netherlands, and there's plenty of Dutch companies that want to do business with Africa. And we want to change the picture of Africa, that it is actually not a lost continent, but a real prosperous continent with a lot of opportunities.
SANEC stands for the Southern Africa Netherlands Chamber of Commerce. What we basically do is facilitating and promoting business between the Benelux, which are the Netherlands, Luxembourg and Belgium. We try to match those organizations in the Benelux with the organizations in Africa, and we try to facilitate business among them, but not only for the organizations in the Benelux, but as well for organizations in Africa who are looking for ways to establish something in the Benelux area.
Our aim is to empower the diaspora and increase their impact on development in Africa. We are more than 200,000 African people living in the Netherlands. We have information about Africa. We have family in Africa. We have dreams about Africa. And we are Dutch people at the same time. And we live in a real democracy, so it's very logical to participate. And what we are asking them is to consider the diaspora as valuable input for the policy regarding Africa.
I'm the artistic director of the iAfrica Film Festival, and it's part of the Young Abi Foundation. And today at Africa Day, we were showcasing another activity of the foundation, and it's called iAfrica Festival. And during that festival, we had a theme, and it was called Arts of Resistance. And we had artists and dancers from Brazil, and they wanted to showcase actually their roots and where they're coming from, and actually acknowledging where the color is coming from. and this was a way to show it to the world. Africa Day is a platform where you can showcase what you are passionate about to those who are passionate about Africa.
Right now I'm sitting with Anna, who's the project manager for today. Hi and welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about today.
Well, it's a huge event. We have about 800 till 1,000 visitors and also about 200 speakers, 100 volunteers, and it's all about Africa, international cooperation. It's a great day. Atmosphere is great.
Has the day been up to your expectations?
Yes, it's been great. It's busy, the atmosphere is good, so I'm really happy.
As compared to other years?
It's comparable, I think. It's always the atmosphere here. It's perfect. It's nice. I think we didn't expect it to be this busy this year, but it's not different than other years, so that's good.
As you can see, the corridors are empty, people are leaving. Afrikadag 2018 has finally come to an end. It has been an amazing day and I've had the best time. So till we meet again next time, this is from me, Faye, and the crew behind Africa Web TV. It's bye for now.
This is wonderful, this is great, and let me end with a quote from a good old friend who unfortunately died already in 2006. It was the historian of Burkina Faso, Joseph Kizerbo, who said to me when I met him the last time before he passed away, "Be aware, Ernst, there is something which has to be developed in the relationship between Africa and Europe. This is the cultural issue, because Africa has to bring something with the culture to Europe, and Europe has to also accept that this could be brought much more together than this is today."